Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know if you played team sports and you were with your team, and when you're in a team, you know the value of each person in your team. Some are better, some are not as good. Not to put it good and bad, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It's a variety of qualities and values. The same thing is in the opposite, the team that plays against you. And didn't you sometime wonder or wished that, let's say, that player is in your team and this player is in their team? I thought about that many times, especially when I got angry with, you know what I mean? Why? Because you realize value regardless on what team the player is. So I hate. I don't hate. I got the same words like these guys here. No, I don't like when my adversaries or my enemies or my opponents have better player than I do, and I don't think that it's a good feeling. Not that you're the best or anything like that, because probably other people think about you. Emil, just jump on the other side for a while and get the other guy over here. No, it's a fair. I'm for self-improvement, getting better. So if that would make this team win, I would go out, bring the best one. We will win after all. So in this case, we have United States, and we have the Weasel countries in Europe, and we have India. India is a country that I would like to be on my side, in my team, one of my players. And especially I would like to have Dr. Jai Shankar, which is India's foreign minister, who is a fantastic guy. I recommend you to listen to him when he's discussing certain matters and he's asked questions by Weasel interviewers, or people they want just to hit below the belt. He's a very smart. I made a video on Jai Shankar with an Austrian interviewer. Jai Shankar, wipes the floor with that guy, with the Weasel guy. Watch that one. It's like that's how an intellectual speaks to a weasel or something like that. Anyway, let's discuss this little article here that is very revealing. And we will see how a strong, independent country is, and courageous country is. And I'm talking about India. You might say, what the hell are you talking about, Emil? Well, India is doing its own thing. A lot of pressure is put on India right now by the United States and other commissars like Great Britain, France, Germany. They all sent their emissaries over there, I think including Japan. Japan's prime minister visited over there to make them, change certain things, which is don't buy oil or anything else from the Russians, basically. And India, unlike other little countries and coward countries and weak countries, says no, we're not going to do that. You know why? Because we can buy from wherever we want, from whomever we want, as long as that's in the interest of our people. That's why I would like this kind of people to be on my side, not this kind of people who are not really there. So let's go and see it. This article comes from Russia Today from February 8th. India will buy oil from, and I'm quoting, whatever is beneficial, end quote, energy minister. Nowadays, this statement sounds like a, how do you call it, revolutionary act. Yeah, being independent and being, looking for the benefit of your own people seems to be revolutionary, because it seems like interests from outside your country are trying to maneuver you for their own interest, to harm your citizens, to harm someone else because it's in the interest of the other country. But if you're strong, you can say, you know what, that's the door, bye-bye, never come back. So let's see what this article has to say here. New Delhi has been criticized by the West over its reluctance to back anti-Russian sanctions. Now, this article comes from Russia Today, so you have to put your, Russian filters on, because these certain things could be interpreted however they want to interpret them, as any other news outlet has its own script and interest here, agenda. India will continue to import oil from suppliers it deems reliable, despite mounting pressure from the West to stop buying the commodity from Russia, according to the country's energy minister, Hardeep Singh Puri. Okay. In an interview with CNBC, Puri said New Delhi, and I'm quoting, didn't allow the geopolitical turbulence or the pandemic or anything else to come in the way of our ability to supply to our consumer, the Indian citizen. And quote, the minister added that India has no plans to change this approach. Let me applaud that. That is a strong, independent, sovereign, ballsy country. And I'm quoting again, today we feel confident that we'll be able to use our market to source from wherever we have to, from wherever we get beneficial terms. Beneficial terms in this situation is you have to be sure of your supplies, end quote. Puri explained. India significantly increased purchases of Russian oil last year, taking advantage of steep discounts that Moscow offered to attract new buyers amid Western sanctions. India recently became Russia's top importer of crude, while Russia also outpaced India's former largest suppliers, Saudi Arabia and Iraq, in terms of delivery volumes. New Delhi's oil imports from Russia surged in a 5-month high in December, and some 70% of January cargoes of Russian oil were also destined for India, according to Reuters. You gotta believe that. Puri reiterated that India will not reject Russian oil. Good. Why should you? Is that in your national interest? No. If it is, do it. If it's not, don't do it. And cautioned that restrictions could disrupt the global oil market and cause a surge in prices. As I said, this is how India speaks. India was asked all kind of questions why they buy arms from weapons from Russia and not from the West. And Jai Shankar smacked the Austrian interviewer Weasel, saying, well, you gave weapons and you supported the dictatorship in Pakistan against us for whatever reason, he said, and that was a dictatorship, military dictatorship, and you supported them instead of us, a democracy, and the Russians, Soviets at that time supported us. So what are you talking about? Maybe you have to look into your soul and make some tweaks over there. Don't point the little thing in my eye. Look at your little big thing in your eye. All right, anyway, what I'm saying is I didn't know, and I don't know if this is a recent development in Indian not ideology, but foreign policy, but they seem very feisty and very strong. Now, I know maybe also the circumstances allow them to be like that, because you don't see sometimes who's the hero next to you unless the situation occurs, or who's strongest, who's weak. By talking around, you don't solve that. But put in the circumstance, that's how you know someone is weak, someone is strong, someone is a coward, someone is a courageous person. So the same, maybe the circumstances now allowed India to show who they really are, which is independent, strong, and courageous. To mention also that Modi visited Putin many times, including participated in Valdai meetings and all the economic forums, meetings of Vladimir Putin in St. Petersburg almost every year. And they are, I think, a little bit like blood brothers, like Iron Maiden song. Blood brothers, we're like blood brothers. Well, listen to that one. And not only that, India is a member of BRICS: Brazil, India, Russia, China, South Africa, which is in developing economies organization that try to, you know, help other economies. Basically, is we are this forming this little structure here, the basement, the foundation, and then we bring other countries here again here and against the big dollar and their group. They're influencing everybody and trying to, you know, do like this. Otherwise, we're gonna do this to you. But they can't do that to India. I admire that, not because they do it to or against the U.S. or, you know, this interest. It shows what I think is normal to show. Your first duty is towards your citizens as an elected official, as a leadership position that you have. So when those guys are elected over there and those elected officials appoint their, you know, whatever the department's heads are, they do it for one purpose only, to make sure that their people that gave them the imperium to rule, all right, they will do everything that's needed for their own interest. If you get influenced by others and you can afford, like India, that's good. But let's say India would have been Romania. Romania would have taken its panties down and bent over and take it as many times at any time by whomever, you know, has a... anyway, it's outrageous. But I'm glad that India still stands its course in making sure that what's good for its citizen, that's what matters first. And I would like to have this kind of mentality here, and I don't see that, unfortunately. Or in Europe, look at the Europeans, what they did with the sanctions. They shot themselves in the foot. They screwed up their, workers, their citizens, their life, the lifestyle. You know, the quality of life goes down. The inflation is economic turmoil. The French with their little pension thing. The Brits, 500,000 people on strike a few days ago. What is going on? Is because that, partly is because of these sanctions and all that. You know, you buy more expensive gas from the Americans and others because you were made to the Russian gas, which was cheaper. No, they could have blackmailed us. Yeah, but now these guys can blackmail you. Why wouldn't that happen? Because they're the good guys. Just look back a few years in history and find out who's good and who's bad. And I tell you right now, no one is good and no one is bad. We have different quantities of goodness and badness. Let's put it this way. Now that determines what are we more inclined that way or more inclined that way. And you can easily assess that by evidence. Facts. They're over there. Historical events. You don't have to go too much back in time to figure out that nobody is pure as they claim they are or exceptional. Good job, India. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.